Okay, today I'd like to talk about how you can get some of your young people or your children to try to get a handle on the 27 amendments, which is really an important way for them to realize the evolution of our country in terms of what we thought was important protections for the citizens against the government. So we're going to try to go quickly through the 27 amendments, and the first one, the way I like to remember it, is RAPS, or RAPS, and it is the freedoms of religion, assembly, press, and speech. Number two not only is the right to bear arms, but it also allows the President of the United States some discretion in terms of financial implications of what Congress may decide to pass. Three is if you take your forefinger and touch your thumb with it, you notice that it forms a circle, and you have three little fingers stuck up in the air, and the circle represents a quarter. And so the Third Amendment is protections against the quartering of troops, which the British soldiers forced many colonists to do during the war. Four is, if you look at the number four, you turn it upside down, it looks like a little bitty house, and it's protections against unreasonable searches and seizures of your property. Five is one that most people know, and it has to do with self-incrimination. It's protection against self-incrimination and double jeopardy, and that you don't have to testify against yourself, nor does your spouse. Six, I always think of kind of looking like a rabbit that's running real fast with a little circle for a wheel for his feet, and it's the right to a speedy and fair trial and the right to an impartial jury. Seven kind of looks like a necktie of a man's suit to me, and it's right to a trial by jury in civil cases. Eight is protection against excessive bail fines and cruel and unusual punishment. If you look at the number 8 and turn it sideways, it looks like a pair of handcuffs. So think of cruel and unusual punishment. Number 9 is the enumeration of the Constitution of certain rights which shall not be construed to deny or disparage others which are retained by the people. 10 is powers that are not delegated by the United States Constitution and are not prohibited by the states are reserved only to the states respectively and to the people. 11, 7 and 11 kind of go together, is lawsuits against the states by the federal government. 12 establishes the elections for the president and the vice president. 13, 14, and 15 all have to do with slavery. 13 abolishes slavery. 14 grants citizenship to the previously slaves. And 15 gives the right to vote to men slaves that was a previous condition of servitude. 16 established the sales tax, the income tax rather. 17 is the direct election of senators. 18, everybody knows about the prohibition of alcohol. And what's interesting about 19, that is the Women's Suffrage Amendment, which gave women the right to vote. And it's interesting that in 15, black men got the right to vote before women did. 20 limited the terms of the president and Congress. 21, which was repeal of the Prohibition Amendment that we saw that was in number 18. 22 limited the presidential terms. 23 gave the rights to vote to the residents of Washington, D.C. 24, I always thought of Jeff Gordon, the NASCAR driver. That was his car number 24, and that was the prohibition of the pole tax. You'll know that in NASCAR races, when they did all their trials, everybody wanted to win the trials because it gave them the pole position. So think of Jeff Gordon's number 24 car, and that's the pole tax. 25 gave the list of presidential succession in cases of disability of the president. 26, 2 plus 6 is 8. 26 gives voting rights to 18-year-olds. And then the last one, which is 27, which was congressional pay. So the idea would be to go through these lists and get the kids to learn 5 or 6 of them at a time, and then to learn another 6, and then to continually try to write short little scripts of these so they can get an idea of what our forefathers thought was important when we did all of the amendments. And I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope it helps a little.